Hi there, and welcome to Let's Slow Down, a podcast for all of you who feel tired and stressed from this overwhelming world. Here we'll have fun, inspiring conversations about living life on our own terms and explore ways to ease the pace of our modern world, because life really is good when you're relaxed enough to be present for it. I'm your host, Annemarie Stolting, and I welcome you to this space where I hope to inspire you to slow down, because life is too short to let it go by in a blur. So take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Slow Down podcast. Today, I'm sharing 5 ways that I'm staying grounded during a busy season. But before we get into today's episode, I have lots to share with you. The first is that I encourage you to check out my website, letsslowdown.net, and sign up to receive my monthly email. I promise your inbox won't be inundated. It's just an easy way for me to share a little more with you in addition to our weekly episodes. In October, I'll be sharing a special offer from my recent guest, the lovely and super intelligent Dr. Heather Penny. She graciously has offered our listeners a gift to receive her course at no cost. This course is meant to feel like you have your own coach in your corner and goes along with Heather's books, The Life You're Made For, and its coaching companion, which is what we talked about in my episode with Heather, which I will link below. Keep an eye out for an extra bonus episode this Thursday as well. I will have a very short episode about EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, with 2-time podcast guest Angela Agronoff. So Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, is a holistic practice that uses finger tapping on specific points of the body to help reduce stress and anxiety. EFT tapping is based on the idea of acupoints, which are points along the body's energy channels that can be stimulated through acupressure or acupuncture. Angela came on the show to go over EFT, or tapping as some people call it. She wrote a book about it and has also used the technique to tackle decluttering. So I thought it was just such an interesting combination of those two things. I had been introduced to tapping a couple of years ago at a wellness event at my kids' school, and it was pretty interesting. And I went to a workshop on it for like an hour, and I couldn't believe how effective it was. So when I saw that Angela had a book using EFT to help with decluttering and clearing out stressful emotions and feelings in our lives, I really wanted to talk to her more about it. So we did an interview, and she went over a few rounds of tapping to kind of walk us through a basic session and how it works. After editing the podcast, I realized that it wasn't really that conducive to an audio recording. So what we're going to be doing is putting it on YouTube. So this Thursday, tune in for a very short episode of our conversation. And then if you want further information, you can check out the YouTube video that really goes into, she walks me through a few sessions of it, and you can see how it's done, because sometimes a visual with something like that is a lot more helpful than just listening to words. So that's what's up and coming this week. It's really interesting, and I hope that y'all check out our episodes so that you can learn more about it. So lots of good stuff happening at Let's Slow Down this lovely fall month of October. Now, this episode is dropping October 8th. And at this point in the year, if you have kids, you're back into the swing of things with school. And I know my husband and I just completed 3 straight weeks of back to school night, among all the other million things, the practices, games, clubs, and everything else that's now back with the return of school. So we've had that going on. And we are less than 3 months away from Christmas. So the holidays are encroaching, as well as the impending colder weather and the shorter days. So I thought today I'd share with you 5 ways I'm trying to stay grounded during a busy season. Number 1 is connection. I've done other episodes on this. This topic has been a common theme with many of my guests. Connection is important. As human beings, we are wired to live in community. I find it helps to connect with people if I'm not rushed. So slowing down. For example, if I only have 5 minutes to take the dogs out for a quick walk, that really doesn't give me any wiggle room for, a little casual chat if I run into a neighbor along the way. If I'm pressed for time at the grocery checkout, I'm not likely to be very calm or friendly with the cashier. If you're rushing and running late, trying to get out the door, you're more likely to be impatient with your kids or your spouse or just the people around you, even yourself. So these things matter and they make our day better. They boost serotonin and, most importantly, allow us to connect. So make time for connection in your day to day. It is truly life giving and will boost your energy. And you know what? It comes naturally just with all of the things you're doing as you go about your day. Just take that extra moment to keep this in the front of your mind and be mindful of it. And just make that extra effort to connect. It could even be something as small and simple as a shared smile as you walk past someone in a store or, in your neighborhood. So try to connect. Number 2, unplug. So just as important as it is to connect in real life, it is important to disconnect or unplug from technology. We are so attached to screens, in particular our phones, and it isn't healthy. I mean, look around. It is just, they are everywhere, everywhere. Everyone's looking down at their phone. Consider it like this. Time spent zoning out on your phone is time lost that could be spent genuinely relaxing or connecting with the real people, your family and friends that are right in front of you. There's a ton of research out there about the negative effects of overusing our smartphones and the damage it does to our social emotional health, our eyesight, brains, our children, and more. But just considering what we are missing that is right there in the present is enough for me to consider putting it down. Have you been to a concert or a sporting event lately? No one is even watching with their eyes. They all watch through their phones so that they can record it. For what? I stopped doing that when I realized I rarely even watch the videos later. Maybe take a quick short one to share with someone who missed the event. But other than that, just be there in the present and enjoy the moment. And when you think about kids stuff, at a kid's concert or a kid's game, I honestly think it adds to our kids' anxiety levels too, because there are constantly cameras and phones on them all the time. Think how scary that must be for an already nervous kid standing on a stage or up at bat, looking out to see a sea of cameras staring at them. Yikes. Like, even as an adult, that sounds really rough and really intimidating to me. So just consider that through their perspective and what they're looking at if there's constantly a camera on them. So a third way that I'm staying grounded, this is sort of like a public service announcement. Number 3 is that you matter. Have you reminded yourself that you matter lately? Imposter syndrome, it's real and it's everywhere. Personally, I'm in the thick of applying for jobs right now. And if any of you have done that recently, you might relate to what a daunting, discouraging task it is. It's basically a full-time job looking for a full-time job. Sending out resumes and never hearing back or hearing that you weren't selected can do a number on one's self-esteem. So I'm just reminding myself and anyone else that needs to hear it to hang in there. Trust yourself. Trust that God has good things planned for you and that it will all work out when and how it's supposed to. So often we stress about things that never even come to be. We try to control everything and it takes its toll. So remember, you have a voice that deserves to be heard, and you deserve a seat at the table just as much as anyone else. Your perspective is everything. Make sure that you adjust it once in a while when you find yourself leaning a little negative, and don't stop believing in yourself. But when you do stumble, because you're human, just reach out to that community that you're connecting with to lift you back up and remind you how awesome you are. Number 4, fill your cup. Along the same lines of reminding yourself how important you are, make sure you fill your cup. You are no good to anyone else if you aren't good yourself. Make your well-being a priority so that you can truly be your best self. This will make it possible for you to go out into the world and do what you were made to do, to thrive and feel energized and loved and worthy. Ways that I'm currently doing this in a busy season over here is only taking on what I can handle each day. I've talked about it a lot. You know that slowing down is important to me. It's vital to my well-being. I personally don't do well when every second of my day is scheduled and accounted for with constant activities and to-dos. So I've had to establish boundaries in my life so that I don't get burned out. And that this is our busiest season as a family. One way that I keep things a little calmer, and this might not be super popular with everyone, but it's by not attending every single game and event that my kids are involved in. They have games right now almost every day, which don't even get me started on how ridiculous in itself the whole thing is. But if my kids want to commit to something that intense, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to. Sure, I'll support them. I'll get them where they need to be or make carpool arrangements, but I can't physically be at everything. And I've explained that to them and they understand and accept it. I'm hoping that I'm modeling healthy habits to my children and teaching them how to prioritize ways to stay sane and to stay grounded. And my fifth thing for the day is to live well. Enjoy the dinner, have the dessert once in a while, take the day off, sleep in when you can, and be gentle to yourself. Think of life as an exciting journey, an adventure even, that you get to go on, not something that you are begrudgingly forced to do each day. I learned some sad news today that I want to share with you. Dr. Gladys Spaghetti passed away. She is the author of The Well-Lived Life, a 103-year-old doctor's 6 secrets to health and happiness at every age. Her book truly touched me and shared so much wisdom and just amazing stories from a beautiful life. And I was supposed to interview her on Monday for the podcast. Unfortunately, she passed away just a few days before. I'm just so sad to hear the news, and I wish her loved ones so much comfort and love as they process their loss. But Dr. Gladys lives on through her many interviews, videos, and her incredible book. I encourage you to read it. I'll also link that in the show notes if you want to take a peek at it. And if you'd like to hear my summary of her book, you can listen to episode 83. May Dr. Gladys McGarry rest in peace. We can only let her be a role model to each and every one of us. At 103 years old, she was still offering medical consultations and had a 10-year plan. She wished for a healthier, more joyful future for all of us. And that is what I wish for you today, to go out and live your best life at a pace that is comfortable and feels just right for you. Not rushing, not feeling overwhelmed, not too stressed, just right. Go take a minute and make a few adjustments to your day if you need to, so that you can live with simplicity and ease and enjoy every minute.
I hope you've enjoyed our journey together. Please take a moment to rate and review the show. It really helps us grow and reach others looking to slow down too. Wishing you simplicity and ease in your world, and I'll see you back here next week.